In the quiet corners of the world, from the mountain villages of Sardinia to the lush valleys of Okinawa, live people who seem to defy time. They walk with ease well into their 90s, garden without complaint, laugh without bitterness, and rarely, if ever, fall ill. It's not luck, it's not modern supplements, and it's certainly not magic. They live by something far older than science. Wisdom, ancient wisdom. While the world races forward, these communities have stood still in the best ways possible, preserving habits, foods, and philosophies that protect the body and nourish the spirit. Today, we'll revisit this wisdom, not as spectators of the past, but as gardeners of our future. Because aging well isn't about reversing time. It's about walking with it, with presence, with intention, and with respect for the natural rhythms of life. Let's begin our journey through 8 pillars of timeless health. Lessons carved not in textbooks, but in the daily lives of people who simply don't get sick. 1. The power of rituals. In ancient villages, life followed a rhythm. Not the buzzing of alarms or the glow of screens, but the rising sun, the meals shared at the same hour, the prayer whispered before sleep. These weren't random habits. They were rituals, small, sacred acts that gave order to the day and meaning to the ordinary. Modern medicine is just beginning to understand what ancient people lived by instinct, that routines regulate more than time. They regulate the body. Our digestion, our hormones, even our immune system respond to rhythm. When we eat at consistent times, our gut prepares. When we wake with the sun, our brain produces the right signals. When we end the day with calm, our heart slows and healing begins. In Ikaria, Greece, elders gather for tea every afternoon. In Loma Linda, California, a Seventh-day Adventist community pauses weekly for a 24-hour Sabbath. No phones, no work, just rest and togetherness. These aren't luxuries, they're health tools. So what does this mean for us? It means your morning tea, if taken with presence, is medicine. Your evening walk, if done consistently, becomes ritual. Health doesn't always come from doing more. Sometimes it comes from doing the same, with intention. Now, as we move to the next chapter, we had a Let's look at another practice the ancients never questioned: eating in harmony with the earth's seasons. 2. Eating with the seasons. Long before supermarkets offered strawberries in winter or tomatoes in every season, our ancestors ate what the earth gave, and only when it gave. Spring brought bitter greens to cleanse the body after a long winter. Summer offered fruits rich in water and energy. Autumn delivered grounding roots, and winter taught patience with slow-cooked stews and healing broths. There's wisdom in this cycle. Seasonal eating isn't just a romantic idea. It aligns our biology with nature's rhythm. Foods harvested in their proper time carry the nutrients our bodies need most at that moment. A spring green like dandelion helps detoxify the liver after colder, heavier months. A summer fruit like watermelon hydrates and cools. Winter squash is dense, warming, and rich in beta-carotene to support immunity. Communities like the Hunza in the Himalayas and the Okinawans of Japan didn't count calories. They followed the land. Their health came not from restriction, but from respect for the soil, for the seasons, and for the slow work of nature. Today, we can return to this wisdom, even in the city. Visit a local farmer's market. Choose what's fresh, what's grown nearby. Let your plate change with the weather. In doing so, you will not only nourish your body, you will remind it of something it's never forgotten: how to heal. Now, let's take a deeper breath. Literally. In the next chapter, we'll explore how ancient breathing techniques can quiet the storm inside and build a stronger, more resilient body. 3. The healing breath. Before there were pills, before there were doctors, there was breath. The breath is the oldest medicine known to humankind, always available, always free, and yet so often forgotten. Ancient traditions from India to China, from the Andes to Africa, developed entire systems of healing based on the way we breathe. And they weren't wrong. Today, science confirms what the ancients practiced. Deep, intentional breathing calms the nervous system, lowers blood pressure, reduces inflammation, and strengthens the immune response. It's not magic, it's physiology, activated by presence. Take the Okinawans, for example. Many of their elders begin the day with quiet breathing, often combined with Tai Chi or gentle movement. In the yogic traditions, pranayama, controlled breathing, is a daily ritual used to balance body and mind. Even among Native American tribes, breath was considered sacred, a bridge between the physical and spiritual. You don't need incense or mantras, just a quiet moment. Try this. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale gently for 6. Repeat 3 times. Feel how your chest softens, how your thoughts slow. This is the breath reclaiming its place as a healer. And in a world that constantly asks us to react, breath invites us to respond with calm, clarity, and choice. Up next, we'll explore another ancient force that kept people strong and resilient. Not food, not herbs, but something we often overlook: the strength of community and connection. 4. Community and connection. In the world's longest living cultures, no one grows old alone. From the tight-knit villages of Nicoya, Costa Rica, to the hill towns of Sardinia, Italy, elders remain woven into the fabric of community life. They're not pushed aside. They are honored, consulted, embraced. And this connection is not just emotional, it's biological. Loneliness, modern medicine now tells us, is as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It weakens immunity, shortens lifespan, and increases the risk of chronic illness. But connection, real, steady, face-to-face connection, is protective. It buffers stress, lowers inflammation, and boosts resilience. In Okinawa, elders belong to moai, lifelong circles of friends who support one another emotionally and practically. In Ikaria, neighbors drop by without invitation, bringing food, laughter, and time. There's no rush, no need to schedule companionship. Community is not an event. It's a way of being. You don't need a large network to feel this. 1 or 2 close, trusted companions can transform your health. And more than that, being of service, being needed, gives a purpose that no supplement ever could. So here's a question worth asking. Who are your people? Who lifts you up? And who do you show up for? Let's carry this sense of connection into the body now. In the next chapter, we'll explore how movement, simple, natural, joyful movement, was once the foundation of health and can be again. 5. Movement as medicine. In ancient communities, there were no gyms, no step counters, no fitness influencers. Yet people moved, constantly, naturally, and with purpose. They tended gardens, carried water, climbed hills, gathered wood, danced in ceremonies, and knelt in prayer. Movement wasn't something they scheduled, it was part of life. And because of that, their joints stayed supple, their hearts strong, and their minds alert well into old age. In the blue zones, those rare pockets of the world where people live the longest, This kind of gentle, daily movement is a common thread. Sardinian shepherds walk miles each day on rugged terrain. Okinawan elders squat and rise dozens of times, tending their gardens and preparing meals. There's no burnout, no pain, no gain, just consistent, meaningful activity. Modern science now confirms it's not intensity, but consistency that matters most. A brisk walk after meals helps regulate blood sugar. Light stretching in the morning awakens circulation. Even housework, done with attention and gratitude, becomes a form of care. Movement doesn't have to be loud or hard. It has to be true to your rhythm, your pace, your needs. So the next time you feel stiff or tired, don't ask your body to push through. Ask it to flow. Take a slow walk. Tend a plant. Dance in your kitchen. Move like someone who honors their body, not as a machine, but as a companion in the journey of life. And when the movement rests, something equally vital emerges: stillness. In the next chapter, we'll rediscover the ancient healing force that lives not in action, but in silence and stillness. 6. Silence and stillness. Before the hum of electricity, before the constant ping of notifications, there was silence. And in that silence, healing happened. In many ancient traditions, silence wasn't a void, it was a presence. Monks in Tibet, mystics in the desert, elders in quiet forests all knew. Stillness is where the mind settles, where the heart softens, where the body can finally exhale. Today, our world is noisier than ever. But within each of us remains a quiet place, a space untouched by urgency, a refuge the ancients called sacred. When we pause, even for a few moments, we step into that space, and something shifts. Science now supports what sages have always known. Regular stillness lowers cortisol, enhances memory, balances emotions, and improves sleep. Just 10 minutes of quiet breathing or gentle reflection can reset the entire nervous system. In Japan, the practice of Shinrin-yoku, forest bathing, invites people to simply be among the trees, not to hike or talk, but to sit, to observe, to listen. In indigenous cultures, silence was a teacher. In Stoic philosophy, it was a strength. So ask yourself, when was the last time you allowed silence to speak? You don't need a retreat. You need a corner, a breath, a moment. Close your eyes. Let the noise pass. Feel your feet on the ground. That's the wisdom returning. Now, from this stillness, let us turn to the wisdom of the earth, to the roots, leaves, and bitter herbs that once formed the core of ancient medicine. It's time to remember why, in many cultures, bitter is better. 7. Bitter is better. In the world of ancient healing, bitterness was a blessing. Before sugar sweetened our plates and convenience ruled our meals, the human palate was deeply familiar with bitter foods. Wild greens, bark teas, pungent roots. Not because they were trendy, but because they worked. Bitterness, in many cultures, was the signal of medicine. Bitter herbs stimulate digestion, cleanse the liver, and activate enzymes that modern medicine only recently began to understand. Dandelion, chicory, burdock root, artichoke leaf, all of them were used to purify, to restore, to protect. In traditional Chinese medicine, bitter is the flavor of the heart. In Ayurveda, it cools the body and sharpens the mind. Today, our diets often lack this bitter wisdom. We lean toward sweet and salty, flavors that comfort but also sedate. Meanwhile, the body hungers for the complexity and healing power of the bitter. Try this. Before your main meal, sip a small cup of warm dandelion or gentian tea. Add rocket, arugula, or watercress to your salad. These are not trends, they're traditions. Practices that once kept the gut healthy, the mind clear, and the body in balance. In Sardinia, elders still prepare digestives from myrtle and herbs. In Latin America, bold infusions like boldo or mate amargo are sipped daily. Bitterness teaches patience, awakens the senses, and cleanses what no modern cleanse ever could. From this earthy wisdom, we rise into the final chapter, one that ties all others together. It's not about the body, but about the lens through which we see life. Let's talk now about Stoic joy, and how embracing what is rather than resisting it may be the most powerful medicine of all. 8. Stoic joy. In a world that prizes endless pleasure and avoids discomfort at all costs, ancient philosophy offers a quieter, deeper kind of joy, one rooted not in having more, but in needing less. The Stoics of old, like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, weren't cold or emotionless, as some imagine. They were profoundly alive. They believed that true peace comes not from controlling the world, but from mastering how we respond to it. They taught that suffering often comes not from events themselves, but from our resistance to them. And what does this have to do with health? Everything. A calm mind leads to a calm body. When we stop fighting life's natural cycles, aging, change, impermanence, we reduce the chronic stress that corrodes from within. Acceptance isn't giving up. It's standing firm like a tree in the wind, bending, not breaking. In the blue zones, elders rarely complain about what they've lost. Instead, they give thanks for what remains. They laugh, even after loss. They find meaning in the smallest things: a bowl of soup, a neighbor's visit, the feel of sun on the skin. This is Stoic joy, a joy that doesn't depend on the outside world being perfect, but on the inner world being at peace. So next time you face a hardship, a stiff joint, a lonely afternoon, a memory that aches, pause, breathe. Ask, what is still within my power? The answer, most often, is your attitude. And in that attitude lives freedom and health. So what do all these ancient practices have in common? They are not trends. They are not hacks. They are quiet truths, carved over centuries by people who lived close to the earth, close to each other, and close to themselves. They show us that health is not a destination. It is a daily devotion. It lives in the tea we sip with presence, in the walk we take without rush, in the silence we allow to settle. It's found in bitter herbs, simple meals, shared laughter, deep breaths, and the courage to accept what is, while caring for what can be. These people, the ones who rarely get sick, they don't chase youth. They honor age. They don't fear the passing seasons. They live with them, and so can we. You don't need to move to a mountain village or renounce the modern world. You just need to remember what your body already knows: how to return to rhythm, how to listen, how to live with life, not against it. If this journey spoke to something inside you, leave a thought in the comments, share a ritual of your own, or simply take one idea from today and bring it into your next breath, your next meal, your next quiet evening. Because longevity isn't about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years.